I want you to picture a very specific kind of morning anxiety.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
Yeah, you probably do. So it's Saturday morning. You are standing in a line that wraps all the way around the block.
Right.
You can smell the yeast, the sugar, that distinct hot dough smell of a classic New York-style bakery.
Best smell in the world.
It really is. And you finally get to the front of the line. The person behind the counter is holding the tongs, looking at you with absolutely zero patience.
Naturally.
And you just, you freeze.
Bakery paralysis.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of us.
Right, because you look at the poppy seed and you think, well, that's too simple.
Yeah.
You look at the sesame and you're like, too boring. You look at the garlic and you think, I have a meeting later. I really can't smell like a vampire today.
You want all of it, but you have to pick one.
Exactly. It is a high-stakes decision for 9 a.m.
It's the classic paradox of choice, you know? When you're presented with 5 genuinely good options, the fear of missing out, the FOMO just kicks in hard.
Oh, completely.
You don't want to commit to the salt bagel because you're already mourning the loss of the onion bagel.
Which is exactly why, for the indecisive and the greedy among us, and I definitely include myself in that category, there is a savior.
The ultimate cheat code.
The cheat code of the bakery world, the Everything Bagel.
Yes.
Today, we are not just talking about a breakfast food. We're doing a deep dive into how a pile of bakery trash, and I mean, that literally became the defining flavor of a generation.
It really is a wild trajectory.
It is.
Yeah.
And just to give you an overview of where we're pulling all this from, our deep dive today is based on a really fascinating collection of sources. We've gone through Wikipedia archives, deep-cut culinary articles, historical bakery records.
And we are on a mission to unpack how this happened. Because we're going to look at the science of why this specific combination of seeds hits our brains like a drug.
Oh, yeah.
We're also getting into the surprisingly vicious legal and historical battle over who actually invented it. So much drama. And finally, how it ended up as a literal symbol of nihilism in an Oscar-winning movie. It's a fascinating case study in what we call culinary convergence. You know how multiple people often stumble upon the exact same great idea at the exact same time.
Nihilism and cream cheese, just a perfect Saturday.
Truly.
So let's just start with the basics here. I feel like we take the Everything Bagel for granted. It's just, the one with the stuff on it.
Right.
But our sources for this deep dive suggest that the actual definition is pretty rigid.
It is surprisingly strict. If you look at the culinary archives, and Everything Bagel isn't just a random assortment of whatever happens to be in the pantry.
Okay.
A very specific chemical balance. And a key point here, it is strictly about the toppings, the crust.
Meaning you can't, stuff it with jalapenos and cheddar and call it an Everything Bagel.
Correct. Everything is the exoskeleton. It has nothing to do with the fillings.
Interesting.
And the canonical list of ingredients is actually a masterclass in flavor layering.
Okay, lay it out for me.
You start with the base, which is your standard wheat dough, boiled and baked.
Right.
Then you have the aromatics. That's the garlic flakes and the onion flakes.
Okay, stop right there for a second, because I have always wondered this.
What's that?
Why flakes?
Ah.
Why not fresh garlic? If I'm making pasta or chicken, I use fresh garlic. Why are we using this dehydrated stuff that looks like fish food?
That is a great question, and it really comes down to the science of the bake.
Okay.
Think about it. If you put fresh minced garlic or raw onion on the outside of a piece of dough and threw it in a 500-degree commercial oven, what happens?
Oh, it burns.
It incinerates. It turns bitter and acrid almost instantly. Yeah. But the dehydrated flakes, they are fascinating.
How so?
They start out bone dry.
Yeah.
All right. But as the bagel bakes, the dough itself releases steam.
Oh, I see.
So those flakes actually rehydrate slightly from the steam of the bread while simultaneously toasting on the outside from the ambient heat of the oven.
That is so clever.
It creates that very specific, chewy, crunchy texture that you just cannot get with fresh vegetables. It's a savory umami bomb that is chemically distinct from fresh garlic.
So it's basically reanimating the garlic.
In a way, yeah. You're bringing it back to life with bread steam.
I love that.
Then, moving down the list, you have the seeds. Poppy and sesame.
Right.
And this isn't just for decoration. Sesame adds oil and nuttiness to the flavor profile.
And the poppy.
Poppy adds that earthy, slightly bitter crunch that inevitably gets stuck in your teeth.
The little souvenir you take with you for the rest of the day.
Unfortunately, yes. You'll be picking that at 3 p.m.
Always.
Then you have the coarse kosher salt. Crucial. Absolutely crucial. It's the flavor amplifier.
Yeah.
It literally wakes up the receptors on your tongue so you can actually taste the garlic and the onion.
Okay, so that's dough, garlic, onion, poppy, sesame, salt.
Right, but then,
So where we go.
then there is the controversial one.
Yeah.
The ingredient that I bet 50% of our listeners don't even realize is there, and the other 50% actively hate.
I was reading the ingredient list in the source material, and I actually had to go to my kitchen and double-check my own pantry. It is the dark horse of the bagel world.
You are talking about caraway seeds.
Caraway. Now, I only know caraway from exactly one place.
Rye bread.
Exactly, rye bread. The stuff you use for a Reuben sandwich, it tastes like, kind of like licorice or anise.
Yeah, it has a compound in it called carvone. It's very distinct, very polarizing. It is what gives rye bread that unmistakable rye taste.
Right.
But in the original 1970s, Everything Bagel,
Yeah.
caraway, was a non-negotiable element.
But why? It seems like it would clash horribly with the garlic and the onion.
You would think so, but think about what you usually put on a bagel.
Green cheese.
Exactly. Fatty, rich, heavy cream cheese. Caraway acts as a cut.
Oh, interesting.
That sharp, slightly minty licorice flavor cuts right through the fat of the dairy and cleanses the palate.
So you don't just get bogged down in the heaviness.
Exactly. It prevents the bagel from just tasting like a heavy lump of dough and grease.
So it's functional architecture. It's load-bearing flavor.
It really is.
Yeah.
But because it is so polarizing, a lot of modern supermarket versions, the ones you buy in the plastic sleeves, they quietly remove it.
No way.
Yeah. They don't think the mass consumer can handle the caraway.
They're dumbing down our bagels.
They are streamlining them for sure.
Yeah.
But if you go to an authentic, old-school New York bagel shop, the caraway's usually still there, fighting for its life against the onion.
I am definitely checking for caraway next time.
You should.
Okay, so we have this perfect chemical weapon of a breakfast food.
The Voltron of carbs.
Yes, but where did it actually come from? Because this is where the story gets really messy.
Very messy.
You'd think someone just accidentally dropped a plain bagel into a bin of mixed seeds and went, oops, well, let's bake it anyway.
Right.
But apparently people are fiercely fighting over this legacy.
Oh, it is a full-blown custody battle in the culinary world.
I love it.
We have multiple claimants, inconsistent timelines, and some very bruised egos. And the geography for all of this is highly specific.
Where are we talking?
We are talking exclusively about the Jewish bakery scene in New York and Long Island in the 1970s and 80s.
Okay, let's meet the contestants. In the red corner, we have a guy we'll call the teenager.
That would be Brandon Steiner.
Right.
Now, you might actually know that name. He became a huge sports marketing mogul much later in life.
Oh, the Steiner sports guy.
Exactly. But back in 1973, he was just a 14-year-old kid working the night shift at a bakery in Brooklyn.
I just love the image of a 14-year-old being given free rein in a commercial bakery overnight. That feels very 1973.
Different times.
Very much so. Just like, here, kid, watch the ovens, try not to burn the burrow down.
Pretty much. And Steiner's story is essentially one of boredom.
Which is the mother of invention.
Truly. He claims he was just screwing around. He was making braids, making onion flats, just testing the limits of the dough to pass the time.
Right.
And one night, he has a light bulb moment. He says, and I'm quoting his own blog post directly here, I had the thought to throw all the toppings on a bagel at once. That's how I invented the Everything Bagel.
So it's the maximalist approach.
Yeah.
Just, why choose one flavor when I can literally have them all? It's a deliberate artistic creation in his mind.
Exactly. He positions himself as a genuine inventor, a culinary disruptor, basically.
Okay, I buy that. Kids do weird stuff with food.
They do. But then in the glue corner, we have a story that is much less flattering.
Yes. This is the one that frankly kind of grosses me out.
It's a little rough.
This is the story of David Gussin.
Right, David Gussin. Now, his claim dates to around 1980, so a bit later than Steiner's.
Okay, 7 years later.
He was working at a bagel shop in Howard Beach, Queens. And his story isn't about artistic inspiration at all. It's about cleaning up.
He was the sweeper, right?
He was. Now, you have to picture the inside of these huge industrial bakeries. They have these massive tunnel ovens where the bagels travel through on conveyor belts.
Like a car wash for bread.
Exactly. And as they bake, Seeds fall off,
Yeah.
burnt onions fall off, salt falls off,
Right.
and it all just accumulates at the bottom of the oven over the course of the day.
It's debris. It's charred bakery dandruff.
Well, Gussin calls it sweepings.
Sweepings.
He was literally sweeping out the oven, and instead of throwing this huge mix of burnt seeds into the trash, he scooped it all into a bin.
Okay, hold on. I really need to pause here for a second.
Go ahead.
Are you seriously telling me that the most popular bagel flavor in America, the one I willingly pay extra for, is literally based on the concept of eating trash?
Trash is a very harsh word. Let's call it reclaimed resources.
It's floor sweepings.
Oven floor.
Is there a difference?
Yes. It's sterile. It's been sitting at 500 degrees all day.
I guess that's true.
But yes, Gussin's claim is that he took this bin to the owner and suggested, hey, why don't we roll some fresh dough in this bin of leftovers and sell it?
Pure profit.
Exactly. And the most crucial part of his claim is that he says he coined the name Everything Bagel right then and there.
See, this is the difference between marketing and reality.
How so?
If he had called it the trash bin bagel or the sweepings bagel, it never would have taken off.
Oh, absolutely not. Dead on arrival.
But calling it everything sounds abundant.
Right. And Gussin is adamant about this. He actually admits that other people might have mixed seeds together before he did,
Okay.
but he explicitly insists that he invented the name. To him, the branding is the actual invention.
Okay, so we have the artist, Steiner, in 73, and the sweeper, Gussin, in 80.
Yes.
It feels like a classic he said situation. And usually in these historical deep dives, we just have to shrug and say, well, we'll never know for
It's
sure.
usually yes.
Yeah.
It's last time.
Yeah.
But this time, we have a smoking gun,
I love a good smoking gun.
or a smoking toaster in this case.
Nice.
Our sources dug up a newspaper column from Newsday, which is a big Long Island paper. And this article is dated January 19th, 1977.
Okay, let's look at the timeline here. Steiner is 73. Gussin is 80. This article is 77.
Smack in the middle.
Interesting. What does it say?
The article is a dining review of a place called Bagel Master in Syosset, New York.
Okay.
And the writer explicitly mentions a bagel designed for, and I'll quote this directly, those who can never decide if they want plain, salt, poppy seed, sesame seed, garlic, or onion.
Okay, that describes the exact problem we talked about earlier.
Right. And then the article says, quote, there's something called the Everything Bagel, which is topped with all of them.
Oh, something called the Everything Bagel.
Yes.
That's definitive. It's right there in print.
It proves, without a shadow of a doubt, that the name and the concept were already public knowledge and being sold commercially 3 full years before David Gussin claims to have invented the name.
So, sorry, David Gussin, but the timeline just doesn't work for your story.
It really doesn't.
But wait, does that mean Steiner is the definitive winner then? Because 73 is before 77?
Not necessarily, because there are actually other claimants too.
Really? Who else?
Well, the marketing guru Seth Godin claims on his blog that he worked in a bagel factory producing them 2 years before Gussin,
Okay.
and even Joe Bastianich,
The famous restaurateur.
the very same.
Yeah.
He has thrown his hat in the ring as a potential inventor, though our sources note that his claim is highly disputed.
This is wild. It's like everyone wants to be the father of the Everything Bagel.
But our expert synthesis of all these sources suggests something else entirely.
Which is?
The theory of culinary convergence.
Culinary Convergence.
Right. The idea that maybe the exact date, whether it was 73, 77, or 80, matters a lot less than the geography and the culture.
Okay, break that down for me.
Think about the environment in New York and Long Island at that time. You have hundreds of independent Jewish bakeries all operating in the same area. They all have the exact same 5 or 6 ingredients sitting in bins right next to each other on the prep tables.
Yeah.
And they all have the same indecisive customers.
And I'm guessing they all have that same thriftiness, right?
Exactly. This is deeply rooted in Ashkenazi Jewish baking culture.
Okay.
This is a culture born from generations of scarcity and hardship in Eastern Europe, which was then brought to the tenements of New York City.
You do not waste food.
You never throw things away. You make kugel out of leftover noodles. You make matzo brie. You make croutons out of stale bread.
So the idea of sweeping up leftover seeds and finding a way to sell them?
It wasn't just one genius guy having a eureka moment.
Right.
It was probably happening in 50 different bakery basements at the exact same time.
That makes so much sense. The Everything Bagel was just inevitable.
It was destiny in dough form, The ingredients wanted to be together. It just took a few decades for us to realize we could market it.
So it starts as this hyper-local way to save money on seeds in the 1970s.
Right.
But then as we get into the modern era, something really weird happens.
The flavor escapes the bagel.
It completely goes rogue.
It does. It stopped being just a bread topping and became a standalone seasoning category.
I remember seeing this shift happen in real time. First, it was bagel chips,
Sure.
which makes total sense. That's literally just a hard sliced bagel.
Logical extension.
But then, I mean, have you walked down the snack aisle of a Trader Joe's lately?
Oh, it's out of control.
It is everywhere. We have everything bagel dip, everything bagel mixed nuts.
Or pasta.
Okay, we need to address the crimes, though.
The crimes.
Because there are culinary crimes being committed in the name of this seasoning. I was at a trendy coffee shop the other day, and I saw an everything croissant.
Ah, yes. The fusion pastry.
It felt deeply wrong to me.
Why?
A croissant's about butter, right?
Yeah.
It's about delicacy, laminating the dough, the flaky layers. It's French.
True.
Putting pungent, rehydrated garlic and onion on a delicate croissant. Isn't that basically a declaration of war against France?
It might be considered a hostile act in Paris, yes. But from a purely flavor perspective, it actually makes a lot of sense.
Explain yourself.
Think about the profile. A croissant is basically just fat and simple carbs.
Right.
The everything seasoning provides the coarse salt and the sharp, savory punch that cuts through all that butter.
Like the caraway.
Exactly like the caraway. It's the exact same principle as the bagel, just using a much flakier vehicle.
I still say it feels aggressive, but I think the ultimate decoupling of the flavor from the bread is the jar.
The shaker jars.
Yeah. You can just buy the seasoning by itself now.
That was the massive game changer. Once you could buy a little glass jar of everything but the bagel seasoning, the bagel itself became totally irrelevant.
Which is crazy to think about.
It is. But you could put it on avocado toast, on fried eggs, on popcorn. We collectively realized that we didn't actually want the 400 calories of dense bread.
We just wanted the salt and the garlic.
You wanted the dopamine hit of the seasoning without the chew.
That is so true. But this massive commercialization, this idea that everything can literally be on everything, it leads us to a really fascinating pop culture moment.
Yes, it does.
Because the everything bagel isn't just a snack anymore. Recently, it became a profound metaphor.
We have to talk about that movie.
We do. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
The 2022 Oscar winner.
If you haven't seen it, first of all, pause this deep dive and go watch it immediately.
Highly recommend.
But the central plot device of this massive sci-fi multiverse movie is, of all things, a bagel.
An everything bagel. But the villain of the movie, Jobu Tupaki, she takes the name completely literally.
Right. She doesn't just put poppy seeds and coarse salt on it.
No, she puts literally everything on it.
Every thought, every dimension. Old report cards, dog breeds, Craigslist ads, hopes, dreams, receipts.
All of it. And the result in the film is that the bagel becomes so dense that it collapses in on itself and creates a literal black hole. It becomes this ultimate symbol of total nihilism. The character's core philosophy is, if you put everything on a bagel, then nothing matters. The weight of it destroys meaning.
It's pure sensory overload.
Yes.
Which, honestly, if you think about it, brings us full circle right back to that feeling in the bakery line.
It really does. It's a brilliant critique of modern life.
Huh.
We currently have access to everything, right?
All the time.
All the information, all the streaming content, all the global flavors all at once. And instead of making us incredibly happy and fulfilled, it sometimes just feels like a black hole.
It's paralyzing.
It feels like nothing matters because there's just too much of it to process.
That is incredibly deep for a conversation that literally started with burnt onions on an oven floor.
I think that's the genuine power of food history. The Everything Bagel started as a humble, practical solution to scarcity. You know, let's use up these scraps so we don't lose money. And now, 50 years later, it has evolved into a symbol of overwhelming excess. We have too much, and we're frantically trying to consume it all in one single bite.
It went from waste not, want not to just everything all the time.
Exactly. And I think that is ultimately why it endures as a flavor. It speaks directly to that part of human nature that just wants it all.
We are greedy.
We are.
Yeah.
We don't want to choose. We don't want to sacrifice the savory onion just to get the salty crunch.
Yeah.
We want the full maximalist experience, even if it leaves us with terrible breath and poppy seeds stuck in our teeth.
So true. All right, so let's wrap this up. We have gone from the chemistry of rehydrated garlic flakes to the disputed sweepings of David Gussin, all the way to the philosophy of the multiverse.
A journey.
Truly. What is the big takeaway for you from all these sources?
For me, it's really about the value of looking at everyday things differently.
How so?
Well, whether it was Brandon Steiner playing around on the night shift or David Gussin sweeping the floor or some anonymous baker in Syosset, they all looked at a pile of separate, totally standard ingredients and saw something greater than the sum of its parts.
Right.
They saw synergy in the chaos, and they created an icon out of leftovers.
It's the ultimate culinary remix.
It is. Innovation isn't always about inventing a brand new molecule in a lab. Sometimes it's just about taking what is already on the table or on the floor and mixing it together in a way no one else has quite dared to do yet.
I love that. Which actually brings me to a final thought for our listeners to mull over today.
Let's hear it.
Next time you're feeling indecisive or you feel like your skills or your interests are just completely all over the place, maybe you're an accountant who also loves death metal and community gardening, don't try to separate them.
Don't force yourself to pick the plain bagel.
Exactly. Look at the leftovers of your own lives, the random hobbies, the weird disconnected skills, the things that don't seem to fit together on paper. Maybe, just maybe, if you throw them all into one pot and give it a catchy name, you're not making a mess. You're making an everything bagel.
And that, I think, is a recipe for success.
Thanks for diving in with us today. Now go brush your teeth.
See you next time.